when you want to start. Okay, great.
There's Karen. We can see
There
her
she
now.
is. Ooh, you're in a library or something. What's that?
Well, it's a little bit magnified because there's a glass wall behind me. Well,
Very cool.
it's actually the fourth bedroom in my house, and so it's mirror doors on the closet.
Ah,
I
yeah.
love your hair, woman. You look
Oh,
awesome. Woohoo.
yeah, there's always a hair story. There's always a hair story. Actually, and I wanted to tell you, I have all my theme music ready for Cultural Detective, and I have my Sherlock Holmes cap.
Oh, good. I brought one too. Okay.
Have you?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it almost matches. Look at this.
oh my goodness. Oh, you put yours down, your ear flaps down. Oh, okay. I leave mine tied up. Sherlock Holmes. I don't know where the Sherlock Holmes was.
I have an inspector's hat, but my Sherlock Holmes hat is too small for my head. So
Was it? This is a bit small for me as well. And the music, I'll just share this with you. The music that I usually would play as the sort of entry music for to start a program, of course, it had to be.
ah, the pink.
Welcome, everybody. I love the Pink Panther. He's my go-to music for CD. Hello, people. Hi, George. I'm glad you could join us. Ellen, Papa, Emma. Oh,
Yes, mommy.
you. Oh, you've so been in my purse. Hugs. Hugs, hugs, hugs.
Oh, Papa Manuel.
Abdul Hamid, thank you for joining.
Hi, Diana. How are you? Good to see you. Hello.
Hamid, hello.
Uncle
Hamid.
Greg.
My goodness.
Hi. This is.
Oh, it's been so long.
Rita
I
and
can
George, you have to turn on your microphones and your videos if you want. There you
Yep,
go.
you can hear me. Yep.
Yes, this is good. Oh, yes. Rita, you look lovely.
Oh, and so do you. What's
Alan
that
is here. Hello, Alan. And George, I have not seen you in forever. How are you?
Oh, you're wearing cultural detective hats. Let me get mine.
The lens.
So, George, how is life? I'll put you on the spot first.
Me? Yeah, everything's fine. I'm here in Las Vegas. Can you hear me okay?
Yep,
Yes,
hear
yeah.
you well.
Yeah, I've been here, what, almost 15 years now I've been out of Indonesia. So I've lost touch with it a little bit, but writing the cultural detective sections for Indonesian business culture, I think that was one of the funnest times I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
It was a great research project.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
love
agree.
you. I love the package too, the Indonesian package. It answered so many questions I've always had about Indonesia.
It was a very different place to work. As I'm sure we all agree, ours are each unique, but Indonesia is one of the more difficult ones for adjustment.
Kathleen Curran has just joined us too. Thank you,
Oh.
Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi. Hi.
Cheers.
Welcome,
Hello,
welcome.
Kathleen.
Yes, we're gonna open. Okay, we have a bottle of fake champagne here because we can't hardly get real champagne here in Mazatlan.
Really?
Prosecco works. That's
Prosecco.
good.
We got a bottle of Prosecco. Oh, Lucy's here too. Yay. So we all need to. Oh, and Patricia.
Hi, Diane.
Hey, Lucy, it's been forever. How are you, woman?
I'm fine. Great to see you.
You look just the same. And Anders Hovemir has joined us too. Ariana Kurdi. Oh my gosh, this is like old home day.
Don't kill them for well.
Patricia and Anders, do you want to turn on your and Dawn Rutherford? Want to turn on your sound and your video? So everybody have something to drink, and then we'll introduce
Yes.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Anders, wonderful to see you, Ariana.
Oh, Ariane. Hello, Ariane.
Hey, nice seeing you.
I haven't seen somebody for so long. Karen, hi.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you, Kathleen.
Hi there, Don.
Hi, Manuel.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. It's been
Good
a
to
while.
see ya. It's been a while, too long.
Yes, sir. Still in Canada?
Good here, good here. Karen, it must be early for you.
It wasn't, it actually, there's been a time change. So instead of 5 a.m. my time, it was 6 a.m. So I've been checking the calendar. Very decent hour. My coffee machine wasn't hot though, so I'm still gonna have to make my coffee.
Right there up on top.
Ando, good to see you. Kathleen, oh my gosh.
Hey, gosh, how are you, Don?
Great, great.
Good.
Susan and Dee have joined us now too. We're a good group. And
Oh, my
Rita,
goodness.
Wilbur.
Hello. Hello,
Oh,
hello.
Isla.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I see we're renaming ourselves according to our country. Okay.
Catherine is here too. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen her yet.
I can do that.
Catherine is a
Greetings.
KLS or something.
Yeah, I don't know how to change it. Sorry.
Well,
I'm
let's do.
technologically insecure.
Hey, there's Catherine.
Okay.
Let's
we're
do
gonna-
a first toast. All right.
The first of many.
I didn't bring it yet.
Oh, Lauren, it's so good to see you. Do you want us to wait? You want to go get a drink for yourself, Em?
Yeah, I'm going to. I need to actually open the bottle. So don't worry. Just go ahead and we'll do next. We'll do second.
We'll do a second one.
Hey, Diane.
Oh, hey, Patricia, how are you doing?
Am I late?
No,
No, you're
we're
good.
just
You're
starting.
good.
We're just starting.
Oh, okay, Kelly is coming in.
Early.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah. Well, we can wait. So let's see. I put George on the spot. Who else can we put on the spot? If I go down the list, I'm gonna miss somebody. Abdul Hamid, do you want to say something? Introduce yourself.
Gosh.
Everybody knows Hamid, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, George.
Hi,
But
Kathy.
it's good wine time for you, George. It's a little early for us here.
This is rum.
Oh, even better.
Oh, George is here. Hey.
I love your background, George. Where are you at?
This is just so you don't see my my very dirty living room.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful.
No, it's dark here anyway, so I need a light background for the thing.
Radek, welcome.
But I didn't want to interrupt. Hamid, good to see you. Say something.
Good to see you, George. Good to see you, George. It is 11 p.m. here at night, and I'm in Saudi Arabia today.
Thank
They're
you
all
for
good.
staying up so
Layla
long.
sends her regards, but she may join us. I don't know if she may join.
Excellent. It is so good to see you. Thank you for staying up late or working late or partying late, whatever. And
It's good to see
Anders,
you, to see everybody.
Anders, you have a very short time, maybe. I think he's at a formal dinner and he escaped to come and join us, right? Anders? Oh.
Double shot, guys. Double shot.
Sahadik, salud, prost. Thank you all so much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful teamwork. I have enjoyed every second. Anders, salud.
Salud.
How you doing? I know you're mixing it with something, Kathy.
Sorry.
Hi, everybody from Atlanta. Cheers.
Cheers, Rita.
Cheers. And good to see everybody.
Cheers.
Wow.
Hey, Tula.
My dad just let me in soon.
So the homework changed to where you are or what CD you worked on?
I didn't know there were rules, so.
Well, and some people did more than one, so George
Oh,
and
I
Anders
know.
are doing a lot of typing.
Anders, tell me, where are you? How are you doing?
I'm in Stockholm, and very soon I have to return to this formal dinner. But Diane, you wrote if we should have an anecdote. So please bear with me for a couple of minutes as I try to refresh my memory. And and please correct me because my memory is not what it used to be.
Me
I
neither.
have difficulties to find my car keys. So remembering what happened 35 years ago. Actually, it was in 1985, late 1985 or early 1986. I met you the first time. Actually, we met only twice.
And we
So
look
that
the
was-
same today. It's amazing.
Don't we all?
We met in California in Redwood City in 1986, I think early 1986. You were busy with corporate culture analysis. I was a novice in the field of intercultural communication. Actually, I was there to try to identify some useful methods for pre-departure training. And during one of those, I think I was there for 2 days or so. And during one of those coffee breaks we had, I mentioned to you that I was reading Professor Hofstede's book that was published the year before, Culture's Consequences or so. I found it very interesting reading, but somehow it appealed more to engineers than to people like me. I mean, to be able to quantify cultures down to the last decimal or so. Sweden is 46, Malaysia is 72, and then make a gap analysis and so. As I was talking to you, and now please, the rest of the conversation, I will need your help to make it that I'm not. I'm trying to recall it as well as I can, but I said something that I wasn't very happy with it, upon which you responded, and I hope I cite you correctly or anywhere near correctly. You said something like, wouldn't it be nice if we could find a method that wasn't based on quantitative values, but qualitative approach? And I think Culture Detective was born in your mind
Yes.
around that time.
Yeah.
Great story.
Anders was one of the very first authors, because when I envisioned Cultural Detective, originally it was going to be a very small project with just 5 packages to start with. And I looked around the field and kind of chose, the people I most esteem in this world. And Anders was one of them. And he is the author. He's the second most prolific Cultural Detective author with 5 packages, I think. Right, Anders?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And well done packages.
Thank you. Actually, during that, I think what led us into this type of conversation was that Diane had her experience from Japan. I had mine from Southeast Asia, from Thailand. And we both looked at Hofstede and said, it's somehow very difficult to capture the essence of Japanese or Thai culture within the framework of those variables. So, and then it was Diane who said something, imagine if we could do something different, not a quantitative, but a qualitative approach.
Right. Yeah. The dimensions.
I hope I'm quoting you correctly.
No, totally. I feel like that's been my life work, is finding all these universal dimensions that aren't really universal. In fact, I'm always telling somebody down here, oh, that could be a new dimension of culture. Let's measure the joy or there's a whole lot of things. But anyway, thank you for interrupting your dinner to join us.
Folks, I have to return to my dinner. It was wonderful to be able with you. Have a very nice evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
for
all
joining
very,
us.
very much.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have to stay just a very short time? I know a few people said that, but I don't think they're here yet.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So Lucy, go on. Welcome. I'm so glad you came.
I'm Lucy Shahar. My colleague Anat Kedem and I wrote The Cultural Detective on Israel, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. I've known Diane since we were together at one of our
At
training of
Georgetown.
trainers thing, right?
Yeah. I think it was
And
at Georgetown, right? Or
yeah, yes, we became friends there. And I remember, I don't know if you were at this one, but one of the workshop leaders, we did a sort of comedy thing at the end, and she dressed herself completely in masking tape.
Wasn't that Tula?
As we know, rolls and rolls of masking tape. Without that, we would not survive. So that was my
She
little.
had bread rolls all over her too. Remember talking about de-rolling?
Yes, yes, yes. I
I think
have
it was
to-
Tula, no?
That was Francie and Tula.
Francine, yeah.
That's right. Hi,
Who was here?
Tula.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. I have to leave for a good reason, but not yet. My grandson is competing in climbing, bouldering in Salt Lake City. And
Wow.
have to, which he does a lot, so I have to watch it live. Otherwise, I won't be a good grandmother. And he's terrific anyway, but I'm here for the moment. And please excuse me when I have to leave.
Oh, Lucy, I love you to pieces. It is so good to see
I love you too.
So does anybody else have to leave soon? Alan, don't put your hand up. I miss you. I'm glad you came. Okay, come on, Alan.
It's really delightful to see everybody again. This is so nice, but I'm just brain dead. I just ran a retreat, a virtual one at the UN, and and I've got to get back to other follow-up stuff. But quick sort of hatch, match, and dispatch is really the story, I guess, of a cultural detective for me here, just as an update. The dispatch is very sad because I worked with Jeremy and Rayling King on the global diversity cultural detective, and Rayling is no longer with us. Jeremy is with us, and he'll talk about the match because he just got married, so he's got a lot to tell you all about.
And he
the
changed
hatch
his name,
is,
evidently.
what's that?
He changed his name, it looks like in the text. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, okay. He was here. Where's Jeremy? He's still with us? Yeah, he's there. He's smiling. He's a married man again. And the hatch is, I became a grandfather last year at the height of the pandemic in New York. My little grandson was born. And for me, it's almost biblical because my grandfather died in the last pandemic 100 years ago.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I became a grandfather in this pandemic. So, 5 generations, 2 pandemics, it's quite mind-boggling. But I'm well, and it's great to see so many familiar faces. I haven't seen Ewan and Karen and George, Dawn for so long, and Patricia, and, yeah. So this is lovely, and Rita. But what else can I tell you? It's just a delight to see everybody, and this sort of makes up, not quite. I'd love to be traveling and seeing everybody in person, but I'm stuck in New York for the moment. Yeah.
Well, and somehow, Alan, I don't know exactly why, maybe was it one of the first times we met live and in person, but whenever I see you, I think of that wonderful party we had at my house in Kansas City.
Yes,
for
I do
the
remember
cultural
that.
detectives. Yeah, that was.
Oh,
such-
I remember that too.
Yes, you were there, Karen.
Yeah, I remember
Great
that. too.
memories.
Wow, okay.
It was such a lovely evening. Gosh, we had fun. That was
Fantastic.
when Pavel and Radek did their imitation of Borat.
Some of you missed.
Oh, let's do it again.
The drive in the van back to the hotel was the highlight, and a friend of mine who worked for me, he recorded it on his phone. So there is a video recording from inside the van of that whole conversation.
Blackmail.
But it's laughter is all you can hear. It was so much fun. So
I need to do it again right now. I wasn't there. I want to see the imitation.
I second that.
Lady, for that you need to really give me a little more ordering. I like. That was really fun, There was a Polish cultural detective, so it's not that far. We like the Eastern friends of ours. They make some trouble at the border now. as you can see, it's not fortunate. But you know, that's what you get when you hang out with jerks. You get criminal.
You know what I would love to see again, or hear a little bit again? I don't know if you guys remember, but when you, Pavel and Radek, introduced the Polish value lens for the very first time, one of you played the positive value and the other one played the negative perception. And it was one of the most hysterical things I think I have ever seen. Do you remember any of that?
Radek?
Probably I was a good guy, and Pavel, he always plays a clown, so that's probably used to be the bad guy. Yeah, indeed. We decided, as we were both of us, and the stage was for two of us, so we needed to go for a positive and negative. And there was clearly, you know, if it would be only positive, there would be kind of the stage only for one person. So indeed, it worked out. But I would need to say one more thing on the Polish culture detective. You know, we wrote it, I think, 2007. And it was a completely different circumstances, social, political in this country. In Poland, we went through change, especially on a political and social level, 2015, which turned very much into conservative. And can you imagine all of those values incredibly got another meaning? They got so much sharpened. These days, you can just observing those behaviors, a lot of negative ones, unfortunately. But there are so much in the game. Well, right now, you just don't need to have any far interpretation. You just immediately have them in front of your face. Very interesting.
And isn't that astounding? I hear that so much with this series, is how much the country has changed since it was originally written, the package, and yet how much more true it is now than it was back then. That's kind of frightening.
Hello there.
I just flash up between my face. Oh, it's like you're right here in the room. God bless Zoom, huh? How are you?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
So I'm Thorin, and when Erla and I wrote the Cultural Detective Iceland, we needed a story about somebody from Poland in Iceland, because Polish people are 10% of our population now. So it's the largest immigrant group. And we had a rather reluctant person that we really wanted her story. And then, you know, as a way to show her that we were serious and that this was worthwhile, we showed her the Polish lens. And it totally worked. She's like, yep, all of them. That's how we got the story. So thank you for that one.
That must have been Radek ideas. Thanks, Radek.
Hey guys, I want to take a moment. I should have probably said this in the beginning, but I was too preoccupied to see all of you. This is delighting my soul. But I really want to thank Fernando Parrado, our host, because Cultural Detective, as we're winding down, we have undone all our meeting rooms and things. And Fernando's like, oh, I'll host this. I'm happy to host this. So
Fernando.
Thank you, Diana. And I have many things to say. And this is a pleasure. I am double engineer, and I get introduced in the intercultural field. And Diana support my growth, and I just love the Cultural Detective. I love parties, but this farewell party inside my heart is kind of contradiction. I don't know. It's the Latin way, you know. We love things and we don't want they go. I will be here for support everything that we can do. And I sure all agree with me that this is a beautiful work that Diane has been done. Then I just will continue the party. And I maybe speak later on. It's a pleasure to hold this meeting to such a great crowd and just very smart. Thank you very much, Diane, to allow me. Please continue.
One of my favorite Cultural Detective stories with Fer is when we were down in Bogota. He was so smart to launch the Cultural Detective Colombia at the same time Colombia entered into the Fair Trade Agreement with the USA. So the Cultural Detective Colombia is actually registered as the very first international business or project, fair, correct me please, that was under that new fair trade agreement between the USA and Colombia.
Right.
Yeah, well, I like that. Yes.
Yeah, we were on the front page of the newspapers.
You're
It
on-
was kind
you're
of
on
cool.
TV.
We were on TV, yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here.
It was fun. So Jeremy, I think it's kind of late for you too. I want to hear this new story. Are you here somewhere? I haven't seen your picture yet.
I'm here. I'm here.
There
Probably
he
on-
is. Tell me how to
on-
say Mriwe. Come on.
Midway, it just means good evening, good afternoon in Kinyarwanda. So I haven't changed my name, even though it is true I did get married again last week.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And here in Rwanda, you don't get married once, you have 3 ceremonies in a day. So we had the civil ceremony, we had the religious ceremony, and we had the traditional ceremony. Combined with that, we also my wife had to be unveiled as a woman, and then we had to drink milk as a symbol of fertility. And so it was great. It was crazy. We organized it in a month. It was for any of you know about the Hotel Milcolin, which is where 2,000 people were saved from the genocide. So it had a particular other meaning to it as well. So it was a wonderful celebration, and we're open for business. So we have plenty of room in our house. So anyone who is traveling again, please come to visit us in East Africa.
Jeremy, I would
Thank
like
you.
to know, Jeremy, I would like to know can I come at the same time or I can be a babysitter?
That's not in the picture yet. We'll have to see.
Yeah, okay. Music to my ears. I'll be right there.
Okay.
They did drink a lot of milk, Patricia, so it won't be long.
We'll have to see if that works or not. I think there's some other things involved as well, but I'm not gonna go into that.
That's one of my favorite stories when we hosted the many birthday parties you have for your kids, and my whole car is full of young boys, probably 7 or 8 years old, and we're driving to the venue wherever we're having this birthday party, some obnoxious children's play area, and I hear them in the back seat. Yeah, that's how they get pregnant. That's how they have babies. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're little 7-year-olds. I'm going to be on the shit list among all the moms. Oh man, So I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, well, he says to get pregnant and have a baby, you have to kiss. Thank you,
Oh my goodness.
So earlier I had invited Hamid to speak. Did you want to say anything, Hamid? Tell a story. Just yesterday on Facebook, the memory came up of Greg dancing with you and your group. It was wonderful.
I think the major change today, rather than in the past, today I think we can talk, at least in the UAE and in the Gulf in general, we can talk about cultural detective Israel, and we can talk about Israel. Unlike before, it was a forbidden word to say, and it was really. I remember once I received a phone call in the office, and my secretary said, there's somebody called Israel. I said, what? And it was Isaac Israel, a friend of mine, an old friend. So I spoke to him and I said, next time, never say you're calling from Israel, please. I can go to jail. And then I went to my secretary and just to say, listen, it was not Israel, it was Syria. It just, you didn't listen well. So that was many years ago. And now we have friends, we communicate. And it's really just nice to have this overall, it's what we call, I call it tolerance. And we have, in fact, I invite you all, we have a conference on tolerance for children. It's basically, let's enlighten our children with the values of tolerance. And this will be in Albania in March. March 23, 25. I'll send the information to the list, I hope. But it's, so it's, now we can talk about, culture, any culture, in fact, openly, not as before. Before there were some bit forbidden and taboos. You cannot talk about this or that, but at least now I think, and I'm so happy to, in fact, in one of my colleagues, I think, Corinne, we communicated by email, on the, so this is the major change, I think, in the Arab world that changed. And now we have Emirates, we have Morocco, we got Bahrain and Sudan, and I think more are coming. So, we hope that, this world will enjoy peace at the end, at least on social as well as political level. That's all.
It's amazing how we all have different blind spots, isn't it? Thank goodness. But I'm convinced that's why we all need each other. Yeah, George.
If I can put a word in, thank you for that, sharing that, Hamid. I love the word tolerance because to me it says, I don't take offense and I don't give offense. However, in the American usage, tolerance is used negatively to say, well, I tolerate this, which means I don't really care about it, but and that's an Americanism which has now creeped into Ceuta Europa, which has banned the word tolerance from all of its documents.
But today is International Tolerance Day for the UN. That's part of why we chose this. How do they deal with that?
They haven't yet. I don't know, but it's they want to just use the word respect. And I think respect is a nice word, but to me, tolerance has always been a real banner word, and always has, as I say, I insist on tolerance is two-sided. I don't give offense and I don't take offense. Yeah. And we usually forget about the I don't take offense.
George, just a quick question here. I agree with the conception of tolerance, but what about acceptance?
As a word for that? Yeah, that's a nice word. I'm just saying, I'm just reporting what happened, and they decided on respect. I'm not on the board. I'm just on the communications committee, so we'll see what happens with that, Emmanuel.
George, let me add one thing, that we are holding our Global Tolerance Conference in Washington, D.C. at Howard University in March. So this is what we are hoping. We're just waiting for the confirmation. And we like to push the word tolerance. And at least, like you said, it's really more of an American rather than anything else. But I think holding a conference in the States under the title of tolerance, I think this is possibly a way of changing, mindsets.
Hopefully, yeah. I think that's a great idea. Also, I was going to call you because I want to get to that big World's Fair you guys are having over there, but I don't know how yet.
I was looking at, I always like the etymology of words. So I was just looking up the etymology of tolerance. Late Middle English, denoting the action of bearing hardship or the ability to bear pain and hardship. So can kind of see how tolerance has grown the way it does. And then I go back further, early 15th century, endurance, fortitude. And the other, if you go back further, 1400s, figuratively, it's like this is a transition point, to lift up, to place on high, raise, elevate, to exalt, praise. So an interesting shift, but this happened back between 1400 and 1500. So kind of interesting to think about that word of tolerance in that light.
It's hard to remember. I was just a kid back then.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathleen. That was a good addition.
So while George is talking, I just would love to thank him as well, all of you. Please know that from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. This project has been, honest to God, I don't want to say a complete joy because there have been moments when it wasn't, of course, but it really, really has been an awesome ride. And George, you are the most prolific cultural detective author. I think you have 7 packages, yes?
8.
8.
Wow.
I just tried to message Elena Korshuk in Belarus to tell her to get online, but I'm not getting a response.
She said she was coming. She RSVP.
Oh, good. Okay.
But do you want to say something or tell us a memory or something, George? Elena, of course.
Oh, wow, a memory. Well, I've made some of the dearest friends by collaborating on these things. The one on return from expatriation with Elizabeth Sultan, she lives nearby. So one of the things in life that's difficult when you get to be 84 is most of your friends are already dead and occupying something, whatever. So I still, it's nice to be connected to people who are still alive in this game, all of you folks, and most of you I know personally. So it's good to see you all. That's all.
Well, George, every day when I see one of your poems or one of your reflections that you write or something, you are so prolific and such a thought leader. So I'm 61 and you're 84. And I think, gosh, I don't have the energy now that George has.
It's eat the potato chips and drink the rum.
Right. Yeah.
And I was wrong. Elena told us she couldn't make it. So sorry about that. Yeah. So I also really want to call out Catherine Stillings. Catherine has been with us such a long time.
Catherine.
And she has been our right-hand person. She has been highly underpaid for a long time because you know how we ran Cultural Detective. It's like a nonprofit that's not registered that way. But Catherine to me is one of the undersung heroes in the intercultural field. But Catherine, where are you? You still here, I hope?
I will unmute myself.
Oh,
Yay. Hello, everyone. Well, I've just been delighted to work with you all. And I was thinking this morning, I need a story to tell or something. And I thought, the best part about this for me was how much I learned from working with each of you. And here's the other secret. When you were writing your packages, you were all reflecting your cultural values in the process. And that was fascinating from my point of view. Just fascinating. And so I just wanted to thank everybody because you have enriched my life. I have not traveled internationally nearly as much as you guys have. And yet I feel like I've learned so much through this process. So thanks. And, keep in touch as you want to, or should you come to Portland, we have a large house and we're always quite welcoming of people, and a couple of you can already testify to that. So anyway, thank you all. It's lovely to see you all. And I hope this is not the last time we see each other. We might have to do another reunion or something,
Yeah.
So, thank you for contributing to my life so much.
You have done a good job tolerating our values as they come. Yes. I remember that.
It's been delightful.
Catherine is so good at so many things. I honestly could not have done this. She has been a dear friend of mine for, gosh, since 1981.
No, 82.
And a crew of 82.
We were at the Stanford Institute of Intercultural Communication together, and we were next door to each other, and both had interesting roommates, shall we say.
And Catherine just has so many talents. I initially brought her on as editor, but as you know, she quickly became the author liaison. And yeah, she's just so good with people. And thank you, Catherine. It's been a joy. Plus her memory is like 100 million times better than my memory. So that really came in handy too. So.
May I butt in with a distant memory before I forget? I'm one of the early participants on this wonderful project. Diane and Lucy and I met at the intercultural training for trainers workshop, and that Lucy referred to.
George Mason, maybe, right? Not George.
Yes, George Mason. George Mason. Correct. Thank you for being my memory booster, because I have trouble with names. They come in the evening train while I'm on the morning train. So it's a little cumbersome sometimes for people to guess. Anyhow, before I forget what I'm saying, I'm going to tell a very quick story from the beginning when Diane told me that she has this plan and would I work with her. I said, oh yeah, I have just moved to Santa Fe and I don't have a computer, but if you pay me enough to buy a new computer, I will be thrilled. Well, what happened was I bought a new computer and I had rudimentary self-taught web design skills before that. In the process of working with Diane on this project, I took courses and I learned and I taught myself, and whatever came along, we just learned to do. And Diane was way ahead of me. And there's one regret that I have now afterwards. When I asked her to pay me enough to get a decent computer so I can work with her, I should have asked for an Apple because she was an expert on Apple. It took me until I retired to get my first Apple. Now I understand why Diane has always been so savvy with all these technological issues. She's fabulous. Anyhow, she launched me on a completely different career that became my final paying job. I became an online learning specialist for the state of New Mexico Department of Health, and worked there for 9 years and retired from there and did course cultural training on the side and wrote a couple of programs with Anders Holmur, whom I didn't have a chance to say hi. But what I want to say is this has been such a wild ride. I never could imagine what would develop from it when we started. Thank you, Diane, for opening up a whole new world for me that has been enriched with knowledge and people. Thank you, all of you who became in and have enriched our lives. Here is to all of us before I spill the rest of it on my desk.
Yay!
Kippis.
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 I need some more because I keep emptying mine. But let me just say that Tula, of course, is very, very humble. She is such a global nomad and I love her dearly. She's one of my dear, dear friends. But she totally launched Cultural Detective, and we couldn't have done this without her because she not only set up our initial website, she set up the initial until today sales portal that, to my knowledge, is still one of the only ones that will collect all the international taxes for us, so we don't have to deal with all that crap. She is a genius. Tula.
Wow.
I'm luck.
Thank you for your friendship, my dear. Love
Thank you for yours.
I like drinking at noon.
Isn't it lovely? Yeah. I just spilled my glass because it's very shaky shape, but fortunately I spilled it on a tray. So
cool. So who else would like to say something and share with us? Rebecca, I see your name here and I love your little kids. Gosh, it's wonderful to see somebody young enough to have young children enjoying them. Are you here, Rebecca?
I'm here.
Yeah, you are.
I noticed we have quite a few cultural detective LGBT folks represented. Susan, Randy, Rita. But Rob isn't here, right? Rob's the only one who's
I
missing.
haven't seen Rob today, yeah. You're looking good, woman.
Thank you. Life is
You're
good.
a Southerner now.
I'm a Southerner. Sorry, I don't have the kids here to show you, but 5 years in North Carolina. So my unconscious bias about Southern accents is all but gone. And yeah. So
tell us a little bit about the LGBT package creation. That was quite.
Yeah, I was just about to. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't remember how long it's been now. It did take a while because there were 5 of us who had to coordinate and, contribute and give feedback and react. And we had 5 cultures in one, and or 4 cultures, I guess. And it must have taken like a year and a half or something like that. And
well, the total process, I think, was over 5 years. There were 40.
Was that because Rita started it way before I came into the picture?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Rebecca and everybody, this was one of the packages I think that took the most effort. And then it was ready, and then it was like so hard to get people to actually read it or use it, right? But we had a great time doing it. But it did take 5 years. You're right, Diane, from beginning to end. So okay, here we are, and now it's even now the letters aren't even right anymore. Now we have added letters to the LGBTQ salad. But it was a great ride to do this together.
Rita, you look great. It's so good to see you. Thank you for spearheading that whole project, though. It's true. The LGBTQ package, to me, now I'm not an expert in that area, but to me, it's some of the best material that I have seen, some of the best content that I have seen. It's awesome. So it broke my heart that it wasn't better used.
It was really the most reviewed and road tested material, right? We went over it so many times, and our stories, our case incidents were just very well designed, I feel. And we have it. So that's all that counts, right?
Well, and for me, that LGBT package is part of kind of the vision that I had for Cultural Detective with the non-nationality cultural detectives, because I envisioned that they would be more international in scope. And so we try to really cipher through where is the core of that, whatever culture it is, that's not the nationality, take that off. And your team, you guys did an awesome job. It wasn't easy. But kudos to the team members, and man, it was so much hard work, because like you say, 5 years and at least 4 iterations of the team, I think.
Diane, you look great too, by the way. It's great to see you.
That's good to a woman.
Diane, can we hear from you just a little bit about what you're doing now? I know you have a photographer's career path that you chose, and what does that look like? What do you do with that? Do you have exhibits? I mean, are you out there every day with a camera, or what does that look like?
That's a good question. We just got back from 3 weeks in Utah, and we went a year ago also at the same 3 weeks to Utah. So I love to photograph the night sky, the Milky Way. And that's why we went. Well, this time, last year, it was clear skies. It was beautiful. I got awesome pictures through the arches of the Milky Way, over the what do we call them?
Hoodoos.
The hoodoos. This year it rained and then it snowed, much to the delight of Greg. Wow. He hates snow. So we were staying in a yurt, a Mongolian yurt. And I was so excited because we had 3 nights there and we were going to see bears and elk and all this good stuff. And of course it snowed that night and Greg's like, we're leaving. We're out of here.
One and done. We did it. Check the box and get out of there. Yeah.
But no, I always have my camera. I love it. And yes, I think I've been exhibited in 24 countries now.
Wow.
Solo show I had here in Mazatlan, we have a very active art scene with a ballet and an opera and we have a great historic theater. Well, I was privileged in 2017 to have a show in the historic theater that was the best attended show ever in the history of our port. So I was really excited. And then my second solo show was the entrance to the Mexico International Tourism Fair, where they blew my photos up 2 meters, 3 meters, huge monumental pieces, walking into the convention center, and all the president of Mexico and all the dignitaries are walking through, and I'm kind of like, okay, there's nowhere to go but down now, but it was fun.
That's wonderful.
I love it. But I thought I was kind of getting out of intercultural, life is cycles, and I have loved this cultural detective. I mean, I've worked in intercultural since I was my sophomore year in high school. Ann Helm and I co-designed only the second reentry program ever in the world. I mean, I was 19 years old. I was a work study student with her, but that was such a privilege. And we did pre-departure orientations, but life goes full circle. So I thought, okay, I'm getting out of intercultural and going into photography. And of course, watch what you say, because now I notice that every single thing I'm doing in photography is all about cross-cultural equity, diversity, inclusion. Yeah, so, but thank
And more than that, what we are discovering, especially with people who are looking at the scene with neuroscience, is that sharing art, sharing poetry, sharing music creates the mirror neurons which connect us to each other and make it easier for us to connect across differences. So you're right at the heart of it right now, my dear. Don't give it up.
George, thank you for being part of this journey. Honest to God, this friendship with you, I met you when you were still living in Santa Cruz years ago, and I admired you, you know, in my 20s, and I admire you in my 60s. You are an incredible person, and your friendship and colleagueship through this whole project, I got tears in my eyes. I love you to pieces. I know I don't stay in touch as much as I should and would like to, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I get
Well,
a
this is
teary
where-
eye here too. Thanks.
This is where I'd like to jump in. Susan Gore. I'm now in Gulfport, Florida, and worked with Rebecca, Randy, and Rita on the LGBTQ
And Vivek.
at the time.
Vivek Saxon.
Yes. I am currently the president of the board of the LGBTQ Resource Center in Gulfport, which is in the public library and is the only one in a public library in the state of Florida. This comes to mind, and I'm making a pitch, but only for your pleasure. We are doing an art exhibit. We do it annually through the month of June. It hangs in the library. It has outgrown the library and is now going to be in a second city building. We have a great relationship with the city. And it will be virtual as well as live. So if anyone is interested in information about it, you just go to mygulfport.us/LGBTQ. We have a page, and I discovered last February the power of Zoom. I absolutely love Zoom because of this. We also, as a resource center, do an event called Readout. It's a festival of lesbian literature. In 2021, it was the last live event at the library, and we were just elated. There were 145 people and 23 authors. This past February, we were virtual, and we had 954 registrants from 22 countries and 101 authors.
Wow.
Expect something similar to happen with art efforts. So thank you all for your helping introduce me to the multicultural possibilities.
Susan, you have been a godsend to this team. You are always so energetic and passionate and committed. And what I really admire too is how you always see what we're missing when we do something. And that is great, because I'm too much of a cheerleader and I get excited, which is a good thing, but a bad thing too, of course. So bless you. And I'm really encouraged every time I think of Florida, I think, but Susan lives there. There's hope for Florida.
I came to Florida from Texas. It's like a race to the bottom.
And yet it's beautiful there.
Then I have to say that this is an example too of, you know, your whole career. I think I'm always so impressed with, you're ahead of the curve for sure, and then just pushing ideas, mobilizing. That's probably really what it is mobilizing. So how many people are here and how many are involved? And you just keep on seeing where we should be going and bringing it all together. So now you're even in photography. Yeah, you're doing it yourself, but I think still, sorry, my squirrel, that's always impressed me. And from, I think when we first started talking about, be quiet please. Can you hear my dog? Okay.
I want to see her.
Well, there's a squirrel right now that is priority over you. But from when we were first talking about it, I think, remember,
Adrian, don't leave. We'll talk. Before you leave, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kathleen. If Adrian can wait, we'll go next.
when we were talking about it, I think there was this opportunity to do that book, that interview book, Success Strategies or something like this.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? And we wrote this chapter. It was like they interview us and then they transcribe it, and that becomes the chapter. Do you have any copies left?
Oh my God, do I have copies left?
Boxes in the garage, and I think you saw
Anybody
it
wants a copy, it's yours.
You saw it on eBay for like $1 or something.
Oh, wow.
It was fun to do, though. I learned a lot in the process, Kathleen.
Well, I have to say, though, it was probably instrumental in the sense of a publication on your CV looks good. Oh my goodness, she's going nuts. I'll put her up in a moment. But thank you for everything, Diane, and everybody here. It's really great to have such a party. I think we should let the room know.
Kathleen, to me, is one of those true bicultural people. She's always lived between Singapore and the US, had homes in both places, very well connected in both places. For years I did that with Japan, and for me, it just became too much after a while. I had to choose. My body just didn't want it, but Kathleen kept it up forever, and awesome. And she's great work in leadership studies as well. You've done some awesome. This team blows my mind how much talent we have on this team.
Yeah.
So Diane, I have a question. What is our way, or how can we stay in touch with each other now that the site will go down? I guess you are the hold of everything, but is there a place where we can have access to each other's emails? I would love to have that, if that's okay with people.
Yes.
And I would be happy to help you with that, Diane, if you need help.
Okay. The emails are all there on the website now.
Okay.
So, and I'm happy to send out the latest list that I have, and we can share it with everybody.
Actually, those emails on the website are not public. They go through our server.
Oh.
So that was to protect the authors from having your email on our website.
Right, exactly.
But we have an Excel spreadsheet that Catherine Stillings has done a great job of maintaining over the years. We can send it out.
I'm happy to send it.
We can just send that out to everybody. It's
wonderful. Thank you.
98% accurate. There's a couple.
Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, we can send it out too.
Okay.
Before you send it out, let's take a look at it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Catherine.
And I've updated quite a few just with this party again too, because everybody's always moving around. I want to just say one thing too, Rita, to your question about my photography is I'll be on the cover of the APA journal, the American Psychological Association journal in September, but because of COVID, they're way behind, so it has not been published yet. So look for the September journal.
Sometime in January.
As somebody who had to be really late, and I'm coming in from the staff meeting of the new therapy practice that I recently joined. So I went back into the world of therapy. Can I just say that it is awfully sad that we are here to celebrate the ending of something that was such a big thing for all of us in so many ways. Yeah, the friendships are not ending, the ways of interacting with each other are not ending, but something very substantial and very meaningful and very important is ending. And it is really, really sad. And with all appreciation and full understanding of how you are so ready to move on to next and then next and then next, life. I am so upset with it. that you are moving on to the next and next and next life, and so, yeah.
Sorry. And Tatiana, just while you're talking here, I was going to call you out next for sure, but I just want to thank you. You, I believe, have trained more trainers by about 5 times than anyone else, including myself. George has trained a lot too. Ariana has trained a lot, but you are the quintessential trainer of trainers for Cultural Detective. And you have been such a great cheerleader for the method, and you're a dear friend. I love you to pieces. Everyone on this team, and we could not have done it without you, Tatiana. And thank you, bless you. I'm really glad you're back into counseling, and thank God you haven't left this intercultural field either, because we need you.
Thank you. I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure that at some point, some of my clients will learn the cultural detective method as the way to resolve their family issues. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Greg's reminding me that Karen and Tarani have trained in Australia as well. A lot of people have done training of trainers, so I don't want to leave anybody out, for sure. Yeah. And a lot of people sold their clients on Cultural Detective over the years, which was our initial thought. The person one of the people I haven't seen yet is my dear friend Banu. Banu,
Yes,
yes. Banu is here.
I'm here. Hi, Banu. Hi, Banu.
Hi, everybody. Hi from Brussels. It is remarkable to see all of you. Hi, Greg. See you in the background. I mean, some of you I haven't seen. Karen, I haven't seen for 30 years. I mean, it's amazing. But, as much as we complained about Zoom over these past 2 years, it's such a blessing to be a part of this. And I just want to really thank you, Diane. I remember you when you won your Junior Interculturalist Award. At a CEDAR conference. Was it in Canada? Was it in Banff?
I think it was Banff, yeah.
No, was it Senior Interculturalist?
No, it was Junior. It was so
Junior.
insulting.
That was before the below 30s, younger than 30 crowd, I think. Yeah. So we go a long way, and I just want to thank you for trusting us to be part of this journey. And Diane, I was just wondering what is going to happen to the Cultural Detective now? Like, what happens? Like, is it just disappearing into ether, or like what's going on?
Yeah, I know, and I am really sorry. We had it sold, as you all know from my notes. We did a 2-year process. It was a lot of work because I wanted Cultural Detective to go to a new home that would respect what we have done, that would really grow it. Because to me, it's not national cultures we need to grow. We need to grow the within national culture piece, socioeconomic cultures, different regional cultures. How does it play out to be a post-colonialist culture? How can we help? There's just so many different cuts, and we found a perfect home. I was really psyched. Everything was signed, everything was ready to go, and COVID did us in because the buyer was hit. They laid off 93%, 87%, 90. They laid off 95% of their staff after COVID hit. It was heartbreaking. So we had a contract, we could sue them, but what's the point? They're a great organization. They do good in the world. I don't want that bad energy. That's not the point. We've never been in this for the money. We're in this to do good in the world, to help people get along. And so since that fell through, and since I sent the letter out to all of you, I would say there've been 10 or 12 organizations that have contacted us. Couple, 3 or 4 very, very seriously. But I just don't see that there's any way. So I looked at making Cultural Detective into like a wiki site, so it could be out there for free. And the wiki people just, I'm sure there's a whole culture to that I didn't have the right argument or the right persuasive skills. I have looked at, asking you all if we could put it out there for free. But then when I think that through, and when we talk to the lawyers, that's not a good idea either, because you got to maintain this information. You got to keep it updated. Otherwise, if it does, you know, if it's inaccurate, it does more damage than it's worth. So no, you all have your PDFs of your package, and you're gonna, you know, you can keep that. The part of your package that's yours, your culture specific content, that is after December 31st, that is yours to do with. So I know a few of you have already, you know, made other plans to use that. I'm toying with the idea of at least the cultural detective method itself. I might just put that out there for free so that people can use, you know, the worksheet and the layers of culture, etc. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's the hardest thing about this whole, first, the hardest thing was admitting that my heart wasn't in it anymore and I needed to let it go. That's just, you know, transitions are why I got into the intercultural field in the first place. They're traumatic. But then the second thing has been this last year, well, 9 months of clients calling in and crying of what are we going to do? Oh, Pi is here. And clients being so upset that they have plans because we have universities that buy 4-year licenses for their students. And they, you know, the whole 4 years they're in college, they use Cultural Detective, and we have had authors too. So I'm sorry. I don't know what to say except it's really hard for me. I'm sorry. And yet I am so freaking excited to be free because honest to God,
right.
Business right now, it's all about technology. Does this work on the iPhone as well as the Samsung, as long as the Huawei? It's all about legal. Are you doing, you know, the privacy in every country right? Are you doing your taxes right? And that's not why I'm doing this, to do all this. So anyway.
I don't think you should feel bad, not even for a moment. I think nothing lasts, you know, everything has a time. And maybe now going forward, we just need to think of something else, but you contributed immensely at a time when it was really, really needed. And I think everyone takes at least a methodology with us and, you know, a lot of goodwill and a lot of good relationships. So, and thanks, as one of you said, you know, you just mobilized everyone and energized us all. So go for it, go with your photography and let us know when you're selling your books and your arts, and so we can support you with your artwork.
Thanks.
Everything
Thanks.
you do well. So
Thank you for sharing, Diane. I really appreciate your sharing this. Not only because it's very personal in the sense that at my age, I'm thinking of the future of the diversity games. And COVID came along and all of a sudden we had to digitize them. And now we're working on an app and so on and so forth. But
gave us the wrong
absolutely, the biggest issue is what you mentioned, is that culture is a moving target and we need to keep updating it, whether we're talking about, we have games now on ecology and mental health and all those kinds of things, and getting people to update them at the same time as we try to say, how can we get a system going that will keep this discussion up? So maybe you and I can talk a little bit more about your experiences with this, but it's really a challenge to do this going forward.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I'm in good shape for 84, but you know, I'm probably only good for another 20 or 30 years. So I gotta look beyond that.
Let's hope so. I like that.
Well, and your mother lived a good long life, so hopefully the bus doesn't catch you, you know. Anyway, Banu, I just want to say, you all see her beauty on this screen. She is so beautiful inside and out. And
oh
I
my
have
God.
been in love with this woman.
I'm so old, I can't even believe I'm recognizable.
I have been in love with this woman since I was like 24, I guess. She was
don't even mention.
She was like my role model. Her and Robert were, you guys did such great research. You did such great assessment centers. And you're such lovely, real people. They're not, I don't know, in this intercultural field, somehow thank you for being part of this. And I want to mention Robert Brown's name because Robert was instrumental in all this too. God bless.
Yes, he was. Yes. Well, thank you for including both of us. I remember you stayed at our home in Belgium and we talked about the CD when you were just thinking about it. So thank you for that. And it was lovely to have you and Greg in Brussels. Come back. It's now 3-4 years since you've been here. So
Watch what you say. You got to come to
Yeah.
Mexico first.
your room is ready.
Yeah, it's your turn. You got to come over here now.
I will, for the Day of the Dead.
There you go. There. Okay.
That's right. I know it's your thing.
Yeah. I am really sad to see. Is Catherine King? Has she left?
Yeah.
No, I mean, and Dee, have you left? We missed a few people, or I missed a few people. Ah. Okay, I should have kept asking.
Stand up.
Does anybody else need to get going? Because I'd love to hear from you all.
Diane, we can go last. Kelly just arrived. She made it.
Yay! Hi, Kelly.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see all these familiar faces and really cool new ones. So how are you? Good.
Excellent. We are having fun. We're all having drinks in the midday.
Like this,
you know?
What about I wish I had known about that because too bad I can't bring my own drink. I've only got water to kind of help me out. So
I learned a new phrase attending one of the online events, and I love it. And the phrase goes like this: it's wine o'clock.
Ah, yes, go, Tatiana. It's wine o'clock.
It's wine o'clock. So anytime
Yes.
can be wine o'clock.
Where I live, the
I do
phrase
have
is-
I do have to go. So I love you all.
We love you too.
And I want to make sure that we all stay connected. But
well, maybe
I love you too. Tatiana,
Good
you can't go until I tell my anecdote because it's kind of about you.
okay, go
So-
ahead, and then I'll go.
Yeah, okay. It's great to see everybody. Some of you I only know by name. It's nice to put a face to the name, but I'm here, I'm in Kansas right now.
Wow.
And the story I want to tell is when Tatiana came to Houston, we were working together. And so I'm showing her around Houston and she says, well, there's this event tonight for the Lunar New Year at this Buddhist temple and we should go to that. And I'm like, okay, she's on top of it. I don't know anything about that. So I said, okay, so she's going to show me my city. And she did. And we went to that thing. And we were looking around. It was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. And 2 monks came up to us and they gave us a tangerine and an envelope to each of us. And then later, somehow somebody told us that was for women who aren't married and need to be married. And she was married within the year. Within the year, she got married. So
it works.
Yeah. So that was
There is one more connection in this group to me eventually getting married. My now husband and I met not long before there was a CETAR conference in Kansas City, and Diane and Greg were still living there. So they were definitely, at the conference. And I remember talking to Diane. It's like, how is life? I said, yeah, I met this guy, but I'm not sure. He's kind of not from my trade union, as we say in Russia. And what does that mean? He doesn't beat you up? So that's another
given my
fun
recent
memory.
history.
Well, Diane, this is Donna Stringer, and I would also like to share an anecdote about Tatiana because it's something I think we could all learn from. I was co-chairing a CETAR conference in Portland, Oregon. And the day that I was to leave for CETAR, my husband, I had to have him taken to the hospital by ambulance, and he was in a critical care unit. And I had my foster son sitting with him while I went off to Portland to chair the conference. And I was trying very hard not to, people would ask me, how is Andy doing? And I would just say, he's fine. Everything's fine. By that point, he really was out of intensive care and was improving very rapidly. But then Tatiana ran into me and she said, so how is Andy doing? I told her about 20 minutes worth of how he was doing, a blow by blow description of having to take him to the hospital and how he was now and how I was now. And when I finished, I said to her, oh my God, that was not a short answer, was it? And she said to me, and I will never forget this, the deeper the friendship, the longer the answer to how you are can be. So thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you. And since we're talking cultures here, before I leave, I just have to tell you that in Russian, the word anecdote stands for a joke. Yeah, so it's we say, you know, let me tell you an anecdote would be the same as I would say in English, let me tell you a joke.
Okay, thank you for that.
Love you all.
So
Wonderful, wonderful
Tanner,
people.
are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
So happy to be
Thank you for
here. Good to see
coming.
you all.
Awesome to
Yeah.
see you.
I'll have to be leaving soon, very soon, in fact. But hey,
glad
thank
you
you so
come
much
too.
indeed. Thank you so much indeed. You know, now, as you know, I live in Canada now, but the only reason I left Italy is because they have just one problem there. Their wine is too good. So and Diane
You're
knows
seriously
that.
sober now?
Diane knows that. Remember Venice?
Oh, I
Well,
love
yeah. Okay,
Venice
yeah.
was awesome.
But the wine was better. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Tanner,
All
do
right.
you have a memory you want to share? Besides, I do remember us standing under that beautiful clock tower in Venice.
Remember, that's beautiful. That's a town I never get tired of. I mean, it's just like so unique. But back when we visited, when you came over, I was living in Milan, right? But then I moved on to Bologna, which is where I had lived before twice, you know, and that's where I lived until a couple of years ago when I moved to Canada, and that was so great. I mean, you know, I remember you're just helping me slightly get back to the hotel. Remember?
I don't remember that at all.
But it was good. It was a great experience. I think Cultural Detective Brazil was written single-handed, and that was back in when, Diane? Did we start that? 2000 and perhaps 4, 5? I don't remember exactly. Maybe I think it was completed in 2006. It took a long time, and I just could not back at the time find anyone else to co-author. Remember, we tried that, but it was a great, you know, experience. Oh, how much did I learn? Thank you all very much.
And Bruno is well.
Excuse me?
Where in Canada are you?
In Toronto. I lived in Toronto. Yeah, it's been almost 2.5 years now. Yeah, just got here just a few months before COVID. You know, well, almost half a year before COVID hit. So yeah.
Give big hugs to Bruno, please.
I will. Thank you very much indeed.
I have a warning to Tanner. Please stay away from the wine regions of the southern shores of the lake that you are on the shore.
We should.
Yeah, I will.
The Niagara region has great wines, so
I know
be
that.
very careful.
I know that. I know that. And the Muskoka region has great beers. I've mapped it all out. Wonderful.
All right.
Love you all.
I really want to hear from Krista too. We're mostly authors on this call, and Krista has a more unique role. I think she's the only actual customer on the call. Krista, you're still here, right?
Yeah.
Not sure what a double customer is, sweetheart, but look at you with your pearls. You look good.
And the festive background. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I created one especially for you.
Good job.
Mazel tov.
So, where do I start? I just liked Cultural Detective. I actually translated one, I think. I would kind of remember. And I used it in the university with my international management class. So they actually used it for over 2 years. I forced them to use it. And it was nice to see. And I mean, there's some critical incidents popping up, but I learned the approach, and yeah. And so it's a pity it's over, but I fully understand. So they go back to Hofstede's dimension. No, I'm joking. No, don't. I was provoking.
I'm sorry, Gerhard, we love your work.
I was provoking, don't worry. Yeah, but it was a nice journey. I enjoyed it, and I realized some of the students really get into it and used it a lot, and others didn't. But that's students' life, isn't it?
Krista, I have traveled so much. Krista's wonderful. I mean, we've been friends, I don't know, 25 years, I suppose. But one of the unique things I love about Krista is when I travel, she's one of those people who will free up her calendar to come join you. It's really wonderful. I miss that. Hopefully COVID's done and we can do that again.
Yeah, it would be lovely. And I remember our Budapest bar session. That was so much fun. So we went to Budapest and then we went into a bath, and I didn't have a bathing suit, and but I bought one, a Hungarian, and so we had a lot of fun in the bath, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And also Paris was lovely.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, Krista, thank you. Una, you still here? No, she's here.
No, she just left.
Oh,
I just wanted to sign up.
okay.
No, I'm just,
good.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I was just enjoying so much everyone's comment. I wish I had met you, all of you in person, and or thinking about all the things all the memories. And I think I just have the greatest memories of the CD Friends, especially when we presented at different parts of the world through Zeta Europa. And I'm grateful especially to Diane and George, because George actually helped me to finish CD USA, because without his energy, I would not have really finished it. Because, whenever Diane asked for edit, and then by next morning, because he's in France, I'm in Austin, Texas, and he will have his version ready. So I said, I didn't want to be the late one that delayed the project. So I was forced to respond to it. So I think he's the one that get it going. So thank you, George. And actually, you're my role model. At 84, I wish that I would have a half of your energy, and I'll be happy. So thank you so much for everyone. And I was really enjoying and then reflective. And Diane, thank you for sharing your thoughts, because I fully understand why you had to make that really difficult decision. And
thank you.
And we all understand there are different choices to be made at different stages of life. So we are here to support you, and I hope that our path will cross. So thank you so much.
Oh, I love you to pieces. And every time I see one too, I think one of the roles of interculturalist is raising the next generation. And so of course, like the rest of us, has coached and trained thousands of executives, but she's brought up a wonderful global nomad son as well. Who's a musician.
Talk about Danny. Yes. So thank you so much. We share the babysitter in Germany. So, so thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Yun.
Hey, bye-bye. Good to see you all.
And
Bye.
Papa Emma, we miss Papa Emma. Yeah, he's gone. Okay.
I
So
want to say one thing, Diane. Can I
please.
In addition to everything that you already have said about what Cultural Detective has done for us, and for me, when I see Ruth showing up, Ruth Mastron, right, Jewish and French CD, and Gilles is missing. It also provided this sort of, for lack of a better word, quality control almost, or it put us all in a very similar sort of level in terms of our work ethic, we didn't agree on everything, obviously not, right? But we all knew we had to go through this quite rigorous process of writing this thing, right? This package, or several of them for some of us. And we did it, and we were happy about it, and we embraced it. And so Ruth, for instance, and I have worked on this project. How many years were we in Lynchburg, Virginia, Ruth, together? I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 with Gilles.
Lots of great meals, lots of great food, lots of great wine.
We would use, we used what we had written, Germany and French CD, and it was just so easy, and it provided that platform for us, to work together and to build a deep friendship as well. So, and there's others on here that I feel the same way about, Don in Canada, and Fern for Iceland, and George, of course, your 15 packages or whatever you wrote. And Rita in Berlin, my sister, right? My name sister, and Pavel and Radek and everybody, Ariane. So it's been great in that kind of way as well.
Rita, can I just piggyback on that to mention the time that you and Gilles and I acted out one of the incidents? We became complete ham actors
And Rita played a German detective, Gilles played a French waiter, and I was an American tourist. And we hammed it up on stage. It was so much fun, and it really got the discussion going. I think, the participants enjoyed it. They laughed, and it just launched a lot of good conversations.
Yeah, we wore detective coats and had music going, yeah, that was great.
Ruthie, the thing I love, there's so many things I love about you. Ruth is incredibly talented in so many ways, but your sense of humor, we've got a couple of great humor. And it's funny that the Jewish connection between you and Tatiana, because you bring that Jewish humor in, but God bless you. And then the other thing I really remember is when you taught the high school students. That was such an awesome story.
And they came up with better solutions than any executive board or any bunch of interculturalists. And they wiped up the floor with us.
So true, because they're not encumbered by all that.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, Manu, we love you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Be safe, everyone.
I love your new house. I can't wait to see it.
It's nothing like the other one. It's small. So happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2022. All the best. Be safe. Until soon, I hope.
Until soon.
We're just a Zoom away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.
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 So long, everyone. Bye-bye.
Jump in real quick before I hate to hang up without saying a proper goodbye. Kelly came in a little late, and I know this is a long recording, so a quick question that we both had, which was answered, is what happened to CD? I know you responded, but will you send another recap of that email to all of us?
I can, sure. And of course, at the end of the year, I'll let you know, but all of your content is yours. I'm not going to try to keep it. So the copyright for the CDs is registered with the International Copyright Office, but your content is yours. Even that's the way we registered it originally.
Thanks so much. I understood that. I just wanted to clear it. And since Kelly, both of us have to leave before in about 6 minutes for another meeting, my esteemed colleague and friend and fellow Aquarian, we have to say that, that's how we got CD to be done, is here. I just want to share real quick that I was part of this program, this project, thanks to Kelly, who trusted me to come in and partner with her. Without that,
you did an awesome job. It is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And Kelly, I'm really excited. I haven't really talked to you since your new job, Power Woman.
Well, don't know about that yet, still trying to make sure that the university is as committed as I am to this work, but you know how those conversations go. But I just want to say, my mentor says that the arrow must always acknowledge the bow. And I think that I would be remiss in talking about what an honor it has been to be a part of this cultural detective family and not acknowledge the work that Joy Hawkins did prior to our arrival. So African American Cultural Detective exists due in large part because of the foundational work that Miss Joy Hawkins did. Patricia and I just had the honor of bringing it to the finish line. It had been started for a number of years. Diane, correct me if I'm right or wrong. A number of people have kind of rotated in and out of the project. And so again, we just had the honor of bringing it to the finish line, finishing it out, rounding off some of the rough edges, taking out, making some small changes. But I have to say that I remember when I asked Diane, I was like, so you need anybody to do that African-American one? And at that time you said,
and she danced up and down.
Right. And then so she was saying, well, it's kind of in the works, but I'll let you know if something changes. And so being brought in meant the world to me, Diane. I really can't begin to express to you how what an honor it was to be invited into this community of practitioners and experts and to be seen as one of them. To be a part of this was a big deal for me, being rather new to the intercultural community because I came out of the D&I space. So feeling like I had anything to say with other practitioners and from around the world was a big deal. And I knew that the only person who could keep me on task and help me out to stay, the course was my girl, Patricia. And so by inviting her in and for her saying yes and making sure that we brought this to fruition was so important to me. So I just wanted to say thank you for the CD, but most importantly, thank you for inviting us into the process as well.
It's the teamwork on this project is Richard Farkas. I meant to mention to you all, he is doing us a very kind favor, in my opinion. He has a podcast and he's going to be interviewing us for his podcast kind of on what CD meant. And so I was kind of reflecting, and I think one of the dearest things for me just with the team is the collegialship that we all developed, because we didn't have ways to collaborate this intimately, at least not in my experience before this team. And the other thing I really liked was I felt that as a sole practitioner, we were really at a disadvantage with large corporate clients and that we got taken advantage of. And I feel that CD really lent a gravitas to the sole practitioner, and we were able to have power in numbers and ask for equity and justice in the marketplace. And anyway, Kelly, bless you for bringing Joy's name into this conversation. She is an incredible human being, and she was so generous to work on this for so long and then gift it to us as she didn't complete it. So thank you.
I have just a little bit to say here. I enjoyed working with Kelly and Patricia, working with all of you, but one of you two ladies owes me your mother's sweet potato pie recipe. I'm just saying.
And Diane, can I just add?
Listen, I'll take care of you. I'll send that recipe to you.
I wanted to.
Yeah, we all do.
I want to throw an idea. May I?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I am very shy. I am not as well in English like all of you, I suppose. But I am the author of Colombia. And it has been a wonderful experience working with Diane. She changed my life, basically. I started 10 years in engineering and did my master in engineering, and I do now intercultural training. In the last 12 years, it was a big change. She had been a mentor, actually a good friend. She had been here with Greg. We have been biking Colombia. And I have been introduced to beautiful people like Don Rutherford. We did a great program. Don one day he said, I will pay you very few for 1 hour, just $2,000. And I said, okay, that is few. This was a Colombian joke, but he paid me a lot. And I will never forget that he said very few. And I will say that Diane had been a big step forward his time. I mean, this is a beautiful tool. And I am very agree with the Russian lady that just leave. Tatiana, yeah, it's very sad for me to do this kind of party. I am not accustomed to farewell parties. I have something that I use and I trust that has a good future. And I just want to throw the idea. I always say to Diane, there are many people smart here that have been working a lot hours put into something. And it's like you have a good action, like stock, and you throw in the trash can. I cannot do that. I cannot go without throw my idea to the forum. The Japanese say, one people alone is nothing, but two people is like that together. And we have many authors, many smart people. I know Diane is right. She has been putting a lot of effort, a lot of work. And I mean, all are very grateful with her and Greg. But I see maybe some authors that are business oriented and that like to do something. Maybe we can put together an idea, maybe continue this seed that has been growing. And at least in Colombia, I feel we are very behind in this topic. We are just getting into diversity. Yeah, I mean, I knew about intercultural, but now I am getting into gay, lesbian, and all the diversity colors. Then I just want to throw the idea to think the authors that are interested to give a propose to Diane. Maybe Diane can be open to continue it. I can say I had no agree to put in the trash so much effort, and this stock that is very valued. I don't know. I just need to throw this idea before the time is out. And thank you. Sorry for my interruption. I don't want to be so serious, but sometimes I have to do it. Sorry.
If I could make a comment, Fernando, you being from working on Colombia reminded me intern a couple months ago from Colombia, and she created a diversity game on Colombia. And what it did for her was a recognition and appreciation of the power of her own culture, which she was very much questioning before she started it. Now, why am I bringing that up? It's because I, and I'm sure many of you, have learned to appreciate your own background and connections in a culture very deeply by the work that you've done on the Cultural Detective series. We became more ourselves and more generous with sharing ourselves in this process. And some games more than others, as Diane mentioned, I worked on several games. It's really, really powerful to be able to do this. And that's the dynamic that has to continue no matter what we're doing. Amen. End of sermon.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Fair. Don Rutherford, you have not said much, but we're overwhelming the Canadian in you.
Time to unmute, Don. Time to speak up. Where are you?
Okay, finally, here we go. I'm just enjoying my michelada. And at the beginning, I thought I was going to say something, but then I'm just sitting back in my chair.
And I love your little flip chart in the back there.
Yeah, it's just so many memories. It's been a wonderful experience being part of Cultural Detective, and I see it continuing to the future in other forms. So I don't know, for stories, I've met most of you through CITAR and Cultural Detective, Mazatlan, our 10th anniversary thing. And I look forward to Cultural Detective evolving into a kind of a homestay program where we visit each other's homes. So
Yes.
Great idea.
I'm all about that.
I've stayed at Catherine's place in Portland, and I've stayed at Rita's place in Atlanta, and Rita stayed at mine, and Jeremy has stayed at mine. So we're in Calgary. I'm based in Calgary. Ellen, my wife and business partner, wishes she could be here, but her choral music group has started singing in person again.
Oh, wow.
So she's off at her choral singing right now and says hi to all of you. But yeah, look forward to you coming and visiting in Calgary and collaborating. Like you say, Fernando, it's been great. That was just the last year or so, and I may be calling you again. I've been collaborating with Rita, and for me professionally, that's been awesome. I'm thinking retirement, but I realize now I'm way too young at 65 to start thinking about retirement.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably die.
God dang, George. What a bad precedent he
I
set.
don't know if you ever retire in this field anyway, right? No matter whether you're collecting money or not. So I look forward to the ongoing collaboration. Thanks, Diane. Greg?
Don, you and Ellen, big hugs. I'm gonna get up there. We're gonna go hiking. God, it's beautiful up there. My friend Liz just raves about what a great host you were. I'm like, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
now that we can cross the border again, we will find a way to get up and see you.
Yeah.
Do it.
Can I say something? Because I really would like to second what George is saying. Is that okay?
Sure.
So George, we have never met. I have bought from you the Diversify, but that's a different story. I was very touched when Diane asked me to do the Cultural Detective Iceland, and I started it. And then it took a long time to finish it, but at the same time, it really deepened my understanding of my culture. And I was very, Icelanders don't ever say this, proud, but I really was proud putting this out there for people to use. And it was one of those things, it's still really valid. I showed it to somebody just this summer in Iceland. They couldn't believe that I had made this. I mean, like I had actually written this up, not that they were doubting my skills, but just like that this was out there, that this was possible.
Was this your mother?
No,
Sorry.
no, it wasn't my mother, but it was just one of those things that it was a surprise to me how much I learned about me when I was writing this, and I'm forever happy about that and thankful. And Diane, even though, yeah, we're all sad about this coming to some kind of an end, we don't want you to absorb our sadness. It's just, we want to say it. You know, we totally understand that a business sometimes has to come to an end, and we are enjoying your photography like we have enjoyed Cultural Detective. And, you know, whatever steps it comes next, you know, I'm willing to be there if that's what it takes. But it's gonna evolve into something, and we might not see it now, but it will come to, you know, whatever comes out of this, something will come out of it. It doesn't have to stay the same.
Well said.
Yeah, I really think it's changed the mindset of a lot of people. And I see it with our clients. They have a new vocabulary, or a structured vocabulary for dealing with social justice issues.
Yeah.
And a new way of looking at what was your role, what was my role, what's the system role. It has, you know, and the idea of blame, of course, blame is there in an intergenerational way, and sometimes in a concrete, immediate way, and blame doesn't get us very far.
Right.
So I think there's been a lot of thanks to all of you. I mean, you've really gone deep. And Lauren, our trip to Iceland was one of the best times of my life.
I have to tell you guys one story about our trip to Iceland. So Diane was there to do photography. My co-writer was not there. Yeah, we were like at the university for a few days. Then we disappeared into the countryside, and there was this waterfall. And I actually have a picture over here, but there was this waterfall. Diane really wanted to photograph this waterfall. And I'm like, you know, there's another one right next to it. You can actually go in it, under it. And, but the thing is, you have to actually have like rubber boots to do it. And we were there in November, it was cold. And I don't remember what boots we used, but I was like, put these boots on. And then you go there. I'm not going to come with you because it's like somebody has to be dry, but you just go there and do what you got to do. And she did. I mean, I was so amazed how she just dug into that water, went through the waterfall itself, underneath to see the whole thing coming, and, you know, taking pictures. And all I could hear, the only reason I knew she was alive because he kept saying, "Oh my God, oh my God." And so as long as I heard that, "Oh my God," I knew the woman is alive. And then she came back and we heated up the car and they took the, you know, and I was just like, wow, that's what it takes. Yeah, that's what it really takes. It's just give it all. And
I love you, honey.
that's what you do. You do give
It
it
was
all.
a gift from God, that trip. Her brother has a VIP tour agency in Iceland, and I was blessed. He gifted us this huge Land Rover thing that actually had a tea maker in the dashboard. It was a hardship.
Yes, yeah, it's wonderful.
Be doing that commercial, the recent commercial for Iceland, Come to Iceland. I don't know if it's really a spoof or if it's a real one, but have you all seen that?
It's a real one. It's a real one. It's a spoof on this thing, but it's a real commercial. Yeah, it's the outfit that does commercials for Iceland is
Okay.
Icelandic Tourist Board is the one that created it. So
I
yeah.
gotta look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, we can do that.
And I see Melanie has joined us. Melanie, welcome back to your home in India.
Hey, so sorry, I just finished a session, but I thought it's 2 a.m. here, but I just quickly wanted to give you a hug before I hit the bed.
It is so good to see you. I felt so bad for you being stranded during COVID like that. I have so many friends who were that way, but welcome home.
Thank you.
Can I say one thing to go back? It's kind of a serious note, but I'm just still brewing over it. What George, you said, and then and Thorne, you said, brought more depth to your understanding of your own culture. I was just on a webinar with Milton Bennett, our dear friend Milton Bennett, the other day. And he's creating a new model what grows out of DMIS, and a new instrument. So he's talking about intercultural viability, which is, intriguing in itself. But the one thing that really has stuck with me, and I think it says something about where CD goes next. He says that you have to, let's say the most important piece is to convert access to assets. It takes some thinking here to what does that mean? But the access is like, we talk about diversity, we talk about our cultures and the values and what everybody brings, but to convert the access to that understanding enables you to convert it to asset. So we have access, we think of that as an inclusion and belonging and so on, but until we have access to it, which I think is going inside, we can't convert it to an asset. So am I making sense here? It's just very intriguing to me, because we usually think of converting something to an asset, but we're converting access to become an access, which, to take it further, is then having the capability to thrive in the new conditions you've created.
That clarifies it. That was perfect.
It's really like pretty deep here, Milton. It's like, it takes some chewing on it, but now that I think I'm getting it, I love that.
Yeah. He's amazing. I always remember Lee saying a good think is a good experience when you're with Milton, and it's really true.
I have a story I could add on to that, which was when I was an undergraduate student at Portland State. I was lucky enough to have Milton as my advisor. And I went in and asked him about my course selection. He said, I think you should take this intercultural communication workshop. It'd be good for you. And I said, why? He said, well, it'll teach about culture. And I'm like, but I don't have a culture. And he just looked at me and he said, so go take it and we'll talk after the semester. I just wanted to let you guys know I recognize I have a culture now. Just wanted to.
You have a few cultures, dear.
We won't talk about that.
Well, I've been listening to everything so avidly tonight to recognize so many things that resonate with me. But Kathleen, what you just said about Milton's insight resonates the most with me, and I hope with Kelly as well, because she's in my boat now. And I'm talking about embodiment of trauma, which is simply educating ourselves on trauma in order to be able to turn our superpowers into normal, manageable, everyday skills.
Wow.
Does it translate?
Yeah.
Sort of?
Indeed. Yes.
And I came to this knowledge or this insight through the amazing embodiment conference that started end of September, led by a certain Mark Walsh, who is a third culture kid per excellence. I don't think he knows it. He doesn't know as much about interculturalism as we know about trauma, because trauma is everybody, right? We're all traumatized. But fed by all the knowledge of being a cultural detective for the last 20 years and nourished by the role model of Diane and encouraged by George Simons, who was right there when I got re-traumatized in the Netherlands with this incredible experience of, look at the other side of the medal for 1 week and learn Turkish.
No problem.
Yeah, I got super intrigued to actually suggest something, from the latest development, and Kelly is so graceful to help me with this in Malta. I hope they're gonna accept our submission to do a workshop on not the revolution, but the re-evolution of interculturalism, and add trauma education to this whole picture. What do you think of it?
I think this is not the end of anything. This is just a season that changes into a new season. What I'm hearing from all of you is you are running with the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to add, Diane, can I tell you how we're doing a couple of things with the Jewish Cultural Detective?
I'd love to hear it, Ruthie.
Just so you know. I've been using it with different Jewish communities in the US and in Israel, and hopefully within other countries as well. You know, the Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi, Ethiopian, Ugandan, and I had the wonderful experience of being the first Jewish person that a guy from Uganda had a chance to chat with who wasn't Black. He was amazed that there were Jews who weren't Black.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that, Ruthie. I'm all up in Uganda right now. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I have some people I can connect you with. There's a synagogue. I have no clue about the geography, but I know there's at least several synagogues there. Yeah.
So keep going. What happened next?
Oh, well, no, it was, okay, so Diane backed me into a corner at a Sietar conference because I said, you know, yeah. So I say, we really need a cultural detective for Jewish culture. I mean, cultural detective for Israel exists, but it's absolutely not the same thing. And, you know, we need one for Jewish culture. And Diane said, that's a great idea. You should write it. And I said, oh, damn. So, you know, I had my spine cracked into the plaster and I had to write it, which was a great experience. And, since then, like I say, we've been using it with different Jewish communities. For example, in Los Angeles, we've got, you know, the Ashkenazi Jewish community that for a generation or two has been in the US. We've got the Persian Jewish community. We've got the Russian Jewish community of relatively recent immigrants and children and grandchildren. And, you know, how can we all talk together, work together, whatever it is, wherever it is. And that's just been amazingly useful. We've had people writing their own incidents for, you know, an Ethiopian Jew and a Mizrahi Jew, and, you know, where are they potentially going to clash or misunderstand, and how can they make it better?
Wow. What a mind-blowing story. Thanks for sharing, Ruth.
Hey, thank Diana and all of you guys, or it wouldn't exist.
One of my favorite memories is dancing those Jewish dances.
With Bruce. Yeah, that was the best. Hey, my Polish dance partners, come visit us in California.
You guys, our host has to leave. He says we can stay as long as we want. But Fernando, thank you, bless you. Do you want to say anything before you leave?
I love you both, Greg and Diane and everyone. And please stay here until you want. I finish a class at 6 p.m. and I will be back. Maybe I find some of you. And thank you for all these beautiful people that I had met all this wonderful time. Mi casa es tu casa, and I am sure we will still talking.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care,
Go too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry
Bye.
to see you go.
Thank you for the space.
Bye bye. Thank you very much. And I am mute, but Diane, with your intention, I leave you like a host.
Okay.
Thanks, Fer.
Thank you, Fer.
Thanks a lot.
Abrazos
Bye.
a Esperanza también. And don't
Thank
tell
you.
them you had beer before your teaching.
Okay.
I'm done with my boy into bed, so he's now asleep. So that's great. That's great
So,
achievement.
are you on the second bottle or still the first?
Yeah, you know,
Is that the Buffalo
I
Grass
have a
vodka?
collection here.
Oh.
It's getting there, you know, the third
Well
glass
done, Paolo.
mostly it's a tip over.
You guys gave us the best bottle of vodka I've ever had. That was
Buffalo
so
grass.
good.
Yeah.
I wish we brought a dessert for you again. That would be really great.
Next
Thank
time.
you very much. Thanks a lot to you guys, rock, and it's just as you said, Tula. It's just one of the season ending, and the season is raising again. So I'm fully feeling that. So
Good.
it's just the next chapter coming up. So then, all of you, thank you so much.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, cycles. Life is a cycle, right? It's one cycle, but I'm really looking forward to how people are gonna go forward and do this. And yeah, hearing today, it's a lot. Oh,
And
we finally
Diane,
get
the cocktails are on us in Mazatlan next month.
I am
My
so
husband tried to
excited
tell
you guys are coming. We get to- Pierre and Ruth are coming on a cruise ship just for a part of a day, but they're going
Hey,
to
we'll take what we can get. And Pierre said to tell you that the cocktails are on us.
Okay, thank you, but be warned.
No, he knows. He's seen interculturalists in action. He knows what he's getting into.
He's good. So Kathleen, introduce us to the little one.
There was a puppy.
Oh.
She's not, you gotta unmute.
Yeah.
Unmute. Show us the puppy.
She's a rescue. Remember my dog? Remember Blossom, Diane? So I had a rescue dog when Diane was down here with Tatiana, I think, years ago for the certification, I believe. And I had just gotten this rescue dog. Her name was Blossom. She was part Cocker Spaniel, part Lhasa Apso. And so cute, so pretty, so much hair. And my sister took me to this a talk by a pet psychic, and the pet psychic said she could talk with any kind of animal. She even told us all how rats don't rats use sign language to communicate. So you see the little rats going like,
okay, I'm creeped out.
Hysterical.
Rat sign language. It was very hard not to laugh, but she was serious about this. And I asked her, she was taking questions. So I asked her, what is Blossom happy? Because she was rescue and who knows, and she had all kinds of things wrong with her.
Blossom, I can answer that for you, honey.
She was 8 when I got her. So I asked her, is Blossom happy? And she said, well, no, that's all relative. You can't really ask that question about pets. So she says, what other question? So I said, what does Blossom wish? And she told me she wishes you would let her sleep because I was constantly getting up and checking that she was still breathing and she was okay. So you met Blossom, and then in the meantime, I had another, and now this one I adopted just before COVID started. So she's been with me about 1.5 years, and she is a Chihuahua Dachshund mix, and she's about 3.5 now.
Will
so
she
I will try to
come?
get her. Sorry,
I want to see her. Will she come?
Yeah.
I got her. Come here. Come with me. Come.
One of the great things about Zoom is we get to meet people's animals.
Yes.
And see the inside of their homes. I love meeting the
Yes.
stars' homes, meeting stars' homes.
Oh, what a cutie.
That is a cutie. Yes.
She is a cutie. She's
What's her name?
Charlie. Whoa, she's
Okay.
really not such a wiggly
Talk,
girl.
talk, Kathleen, so you get big. Oh, no, wait, no, I missed it again.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I sit down on the. She wonders why I'm picking her up and doing that. Now I get down here with her. There, see, say hi to her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so cute.
Oh, what a doll.
Oh, now she's posing. Now she's working it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You work it, girl.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
All
what
right.
she was.
Kathleen, are you now permanently in the US or are you still in both countries?
You know, I have a hard time with the word permanently.
I know.
But probably more here because
Okay.
there's no way to travel back there yet. And I mean, they're always opening up and closing down, you know, opening up, locking down again. And I think I will try to resurrect my networks and, you know, and try to get things going again. But, you know, I was always in the corporate sector and doing training within programs, within companies, and they're just doing that so much less. To have the face-to-face leadership programs, just, it has not started again.
Right.
At least in my experience, I haven't gotten any jobs. So I'm not sure, but at least I will go back as a tourist for sure. And I think one of those ideas about CDs, our family staying in touch is, yeah, maybe it does become like a special form of a travel company.
Yes. The reason I was asking is that we still have Singapore on our bucket list and we were interrupted, as you know, so I'm just hoping that you're still there so we can visit.
I wish, you know, I miss having more than one home. I mean, I'm in Houston, Texas. It's like way different.
Probably.
Way. So I miss having that too, is having a place where people can come and I feel more like I am at home, not just visiting.
Well, and Tula, tell us about your two homes. Does everybody know?
Oh, yeah. We now, after a 2-year hiatus, we finally get to go back to Finland for 3 months. And it has been an adventure arranging for flights. I'm allowing an entire day to get to Los Angeles and continuing from there to Helsinki, because I read that American Airlines has been canceling 200 flights a day because they can't get crews. Yeah. So I'm leaving Albuquerque at 6:03 a.m. and departing from Los Angeles at 6:30 p.m. So I am a belt and suspenders kind of gal. I take no chances.
We went to France in the middle of the pandemic last year for our niece's wedding before the vaccine.
Wow.
And yeah, the only way we could do that is because I have a French passport. They were only letting nationals in. And if it hadn't been for the wedding, we would never in a million years have pulled such a stunt. But in retrospect, I'm really glad we did, because both families kind of flaked out on the kids. So at least we could be there. And then they went into lockdown and curfew while we were there, with only essential shops open. So I said to my niece, we have 24-hour notice. The grocery stores are going to be open. Everything else is going to be closed. I need lingerie. So that's my idea of emergency supplies. We went out and bought lingerie.
I'm with you.
Lucky Pierre. What can Karen, tell us a little bit about you in the last few years, because I think it's really interesting how your career has changed. Karen?
She has to unmute.
Oh, she's muted. You got to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, well, I hardly know where to start, Diane. It's really been such an incredible journey. I will always be an interculturalist. I will always be pressing my nose against that window to other cultures and really trying to keep my own window open. So I have you to credit for an awful lot of that time. I think you were one of the first people I met when I first started going to, I feel like a bit of a junkie, you know, having gone to, I can't remember right now what year I went to the Summer Institute, the Stanford, when the Institute was at Stanford. That was like such a long time ago.
84 maybe, I'm thinking.
Oh gosh, it was like the second year it was on. No, it was
before then you're talking.
Mid-70s.
Yeah.
Mid-70s. It would have been around 75. It was a long time ago.
Ming and Cliff, yeah.
Yeah, Cliff was the person I had. There were only 2 tracks. There were only 2 2 sessions that were going on. It was pretty amazing the way everything has grown. And then there was well, there's the Stanford Institute and then the Summer Institute. And so I don't know how many years I went to the Summer Institute, and I think probably every year I would have gone to one of your sessions. So, you know, the standouts are the pinwheel of culture. And I don't remember in this moment either whether the pinwheel kind of morphed into the detective lens, but I think somehow
it came way
Yeah.
later. But it's funny because I just this summer, we're cleaning out our home in Wisconsin, our condo, and I had a huge box of Japanese pinwheels that I remember. It took me a month trying to find these handmade pinwheels with the 4 wheels, bamboo.
Yeah,
And here
yeah.
I had this whole box of them, and we just gave them, you know, donated them to Goodwill, and they went to some art class, and the lady actually wrote me, "My kids are so excited." Anyway, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you remember cultural pinwheels. They rocked.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it was really to have something that would keep you so focused, you know, just holding that as a metaphor was fantastic. And yeah, metaphor in fact is how culture detective just works so extremely well. I mean, obviously I really like the detective metaphor and all the rest of it.
Well, and I think I do agree. I think the pinwheels were probably the layers of culture, the first effort before we started doing value lens layers.
I felt there was a connection, but anyway. And then something else I carry forward is about being a bridging person. And so there is such a need to understand what the advantages and disadvantages of finding that bridging person are. And it's really important to understand that dynamic of the person who is standing with one foot in 2 different cultures and who sometimes gets split apart in that process, and always being mindful that so there still is the challenge to work with that person. You might have somebody who is able to speak the language who comes from that culture, but those of us who employ people in those roles can't expect that they're going to do our work for us. So there's bridging and bridging and bridging. So it's another really valuable metaphor. And because, well, with bridging in mind, that is something that I've been able to do, is finding myself living in a place like Coffs Harbour, a beautiful place, a bit distant from capital cities, and I just found it increasingly difficult because people
We're
would begin-
coming. Be careful.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a 4-bedroom house, so there's plenty of room. And beautiful beaches, and oh my God, so much beautiful bushland to explore, and national parks. We have something like over 80 national parks just in this part of Australia. It's incredibly beautiful. So anyway, long story short, it really became important for me to take global, local, and so global interface became a kind of local interface that I was looking for. So I made a career transition into community services, and have been working for a number of years with people from other cultures, including cultures of disability, more recently, and now with people from refugee backgrounds who are in Australia on humanitarian visas, who arrived in Australia on humanitarian visas. And yes, we're hopeful that that is all going to resume. We are not really doing our job in the world to welcome people as we should be. So I am deeply ashamed that our government is taking the stance it has on refugees and climate change as well. Need I say more?
It seems to be the way the world's going, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a large population of people from Myanmar who come to Australia via Malaysia. Many people still have people remaining in different places. Some have made it across the border to India. Many are missing. And so the people that we're working with are people who are not yet ready and able to settle in a new place, because so much of them is still somewhere else.
Talk about
And,
trauma, right?
What's that?
Talk about trauma.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And then the other large population is the Yazidi people from primarily from Iraq, some from Syria as well. And, you know, they of course are very concerned that at any moment they could have a call saying they've unearthed yet another mass grave and the missing relatives have been found. So there's so much work that needs to be done to help people through those situations of trauma, and big conversations to continue. And Kathleen, thank you so much for sharing what Milton is unleashing in the world with access and assets. It leaves me with something very important to think about. And to everyone, I haven't had a chance really to say to everyone, I've been chatting away and boxed on the side. It's been and continues to be such an incredible journey. George, I'm so grateful to you for the involvement I've had with Diversity, and all these projects have long lives. I think we have to really congratulate ourselves for having given birth to these things that will be carried on in some way, shape, or form. I think we don't really know always how dropping that pebble in the pond creates ripples that we may not ever see in its final extent, but have to trust that it will be there.
Thanks, Karen. What's coming to my mind is that I am now developing heroes who are 60 years younger than I am, because I see them as the future of where we're going.
Yes.
And I've been collaborating with a number of very young people entering in the field who have something very fresh to bring to me, not just to the field, but so it ain't over with, you know.
Till the fat lady
sings.
I wasn't going to get, you know, corporality biased here, but I can't afford to.
I believe
Anyway,
in history.
Yeah, I need to say good night because I fell asleep here for a moment. It wasn't boring. It's just that hour. So everybody, thank you so much for all the years and for tonight. Thanks for the nice party, and everybody be well.
Bless you, George.
Thank you,
God
George.
bless
Thanks for being here.
George.
Thank you for everything.
Yes, you're a wonderful mentor. And
So I just had one thing to say to Karen. Karen, you have embedded something in my brain. You know, I've learned something from every cultural detective author, but I just want you to know I now officially celebrate the silly season. This is something that Karen taught me that basically, now I'm paraphrasing and I may not understand it because it's a cultural difference, but basically between, let's say, the month of December, that not much gets done because there's too many parties and excitement because around the holidays. And I just want you to know I have officially adopted the silly season. So thank you so much. This is one of those selective cultural appropriations.
Okay. Well, yes, thank you. I've forgotten about that entirely. Yes, we do have silly season, and silly season is going to start very soon. So yeah,
it's already started in Oregon.
Yeah.
well, and in Mexico it goes pretty much all year. So Latin America has some good things to offer the world.
Yeah, I'm so happy that there are so many people that that are happy to have visitors, and I will welcome you. Anyone warmly when you come to Australia. I won't say if you come to Australia, say when you come to Australia.
And when you come to Oregon.
Yes, actually,
come to Texas if you really want to do that.
Yeah, I do have another friend in Oregon, so I will keep that
too.
You know those Oregonians, be careful.
Yeah. It's been lovely seeing you all.
Yes. I just, before we close, and we can close, but I just want to acknowledge I received 4 or 5 messages that people asked me to read. And I don't know, we've just been talking so much and it's been so delightful. I didn't want to interrupt. So I will find a way to share these maybe when we share the video of tonight. But Shilpa from Cultural Detective India, Elle Percher from Austria wrote us a lovely note for you all, for everyone. Eleanor Bruchel with heartbroken to not be here, a very nice long letter. And Katrine Woynyan, who wrote CD Morocco or co-wrote it. All of them. And then Greg had a whole bunch of, I don't know, there's like 3 pages of notes from our customers that they wanted us to read to you all too. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But we're ladies and Greg, look at that. In, in Japanese, we say ryoto zukai. It's a flower in each hand, but he needs.
In English, we just say lucky guy.
And I'm always one to close down a party too, somehow.
I was
love you. Thank you for being part of the journey.
Thank you all. Thank you for having us along on the ride. It was a wild ride.
It's the roller coaster. It's going up to another level. Oh, and Charlie always has to have the last word.
Of course.
Take care, y'all.
Good morning.
Okay, I want you to be able to read all those messages. I'm afraid you're gonna lose them if it goes out.
Oh, really?
Stop recording up there. That's square.
Okay, let's see if I